Good evening, everyone. Trevor the Aviator here, where currently I am at Manhattan Beach in Los Angeles, California, after having an amazing day of plane spotting at LAX, which was a lot of fun but very exhausting. But pretty soon, though, I am actually going to be headed back to the airport, where tonight I am going to be taking a red-eye flight on the United Airlines 777-200ER back to Chicago. I'm very excited about this flight, as this is another wide-body aircraft that I am going to be on. And in a few short moments, I'm going to be taking an Uber to the airport, and I will see you guys when I get to the airport. Before I headed my way to the airport, I actually was down at Manhattan Beach south of the airport, which I took a very nice walk, as it was a very nice Saturday night that was there. Once I ended up getting to the airport from Manhattan Beach, I was pretty surprised as to how empty the line for security was, and sure enough, it was actually going to go by faster than what I originally thought. Okay, so I was able to get through TSA very quickly, and since I have some extra time, I'm actually going to be checking out the Tom Bradley International Terminal while I am waiting for my flight. So I'll see what there is over there, and then I'll head my way to my gate. Since I had some extra time to kill before my flight, I went to the Tom Bradley International Terminal. And personally, I would say this is probably the nicest area in the entire airport. And in my opinion, I'm not really the biggest fan of being inside of LAX in general. However, the terminal here is actually quite nice, with how clean it is and also just how big it is as well. But after a little while, I headed back towards my terminal in the United area, and sure enough, I realized that it was starting to get a little bit busier, but it is definitely nowhere as busy for nighttime as it is in the middle of the day when a lot of flights are departing. But as I continued to head towards my gate, there were quite a few other flights that were getting ready for the night in that. And then once I ended up getting near my area, there were quite a number of other passengers there, as there was another flight right next to our gate that was headed to New York. But very shortly, our plane is going to be pushing back as we begin our flight on the 777-200 back to Chicago. flights that I have taken in my life, I will say this is probably the latest that I have ever taken off from an airport, as we literally did not get up in the air till past 12:30 a.m. on the West Coast. So I've experienced some other red eyes before, but not this late. So with that happening, I did kind of do some of this recording when I was literally half asleep. But I will say though, but being able to fly over the area of Los Angeles at night, it can be pretty cool to see if you get on the side of the window that it actually sees the city. Unfortunately, with me being on the right side, I did not get a great view of the city overall, but I have before, so I wasn't really missing too much in general since I've seen the city before. Once we headed our way into the mountains, there was unfortunately not a whole lot to see as it was pitch black. So with that happening, I will show you guys a bit of the inside of the airplane. So for the 777-200, it is a 343 configuration, and because this is a domestic configured 777, which United uses for domestic routes between hubs, there was no TVs and such installed on this one in particular. But overall though, I will say the seat that I was in was pretty comfortable for the most part. This was not as comfortable, I'd say, as the last 777 flight I was on, which was a 777-300ER, but it was still good for it being what is a domestic aircraft that they would use this aircraft in particular for. But with that happening, they also provided an extra blanket as well because this flight was so late. And with that, I really needed one of those, as literally I decided to take a big nap on the airplane as we were headed our way towards Chicago, and little did I realize that I actually slept very well and for quite a while, because when I ended up waking up, we actually were not that far from Chicago. So with that happening, it is time to sit back and relax as we see the city of Chicago and the surrounding area as we begin our approach into Chicago O'Hare.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight. Don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase. So catch me if I fall. I'm falling fast, sitting here praying that this night's gonna last. You tap. I'm loving your vibe, always have your back. We like all the same tracks, listen all night in the sheets all black. Said I'm falling fast, don't remember life before you, that's facts. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight, don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase, so catch me if I fall.
After what felt like a very quick flight due to the fact that I slept for a good chunk of it, we ended up landing in Chicago just after 5:30 in the morning, which was actually right at the beginning of sunrise, which made it offer for a nice view of the airport and even seeing the Chicago skyline as well, when it was kind of yellow, but not quite at the sun being its peak yet when it came to sunrise. But overall, I will say for this flight, it was a pretty good experience from what I had. It is not the greatest experience I've had on a wide body as the experiences I've had on the Dreamliner and my last 777 flight was honestly more better, I'd say, than this one. But this was more of a domestic type of flight, where the other two were more what you would get if you were flying internationally. So that's kind of one thing that was a major difference, as those other two previous flights, they were going to international places later in the day. But if you guys sticked around to this long, thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video as well. And if you guys are interested in watching some more of my content, then go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And go ahead and let me know what you think of the video. Until then, this is Trevor the Aviator from Chicago O'Hare International Airport, where I will see you guys again at the airport very shortly.